Hello, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours FM, episode number 61.
Nice.
I am your host, Kori Dills, and today I am delighted, absolutely delighted, to introduce you to a fellow lady that is a badass coder.
Woohoo!
Not that I'm a badass coder. That doesn't sound like I just complimented myself. It was meant to be a compliment about you, Kori.
Oh, way to go.
Number two, she is a WordCamp organizer. And highly engaged in the WordPress community. And number three, she is a fellow Texan. So give it up for Kori Ashton.
Thank you.
Kori, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on your show. You're incredible. I've always just looked at you and thought, oh, to be like Kori Dills someday. That's why I follow you and stalk you on Twitter. That's why I do that.
I was wondering what this was, but this is sign language for following and stalking on Twitter. Okay. I didn't know if that was texting while driving, but apparently this is.
No, that's not allowed. That's not allowed in San Antonio. You got to put the phone down.
Really? Well, I don't know if I know you shouldn't do it. I don't know if it's actually a law here in Dallas-Fort Worth yet, but I don't know. Maybe we'll catch on to your San Antonio ways.
Yeah, they passed that law here and they put the smack down too. They catch you. It's not good.
Wow. Okay. Well, everybody out there.
I try to manage my WordPress websites, while I'm driving and just, like updating. Doesn't work. Can't do that anymore. No.
That's seriously hardcore. Now, I had a podcast listener once who was so determined to tune in live that she tethered to her phone outside of a Starbucks in the parking lot, was watching it on her iPad. She sent me a little picture of it. So we have dedicated followers. So thank you to everyone. Oh yeah. Yeah. Thank you to everyone who is tuned in today to listen. You can ask questions of Kori by using the hashtag OfficeFM, or you can head over to Google Plus. There's a community just for Office Hours FM. So if you search for that on Google Plus, it'll come up. You can ask questions over there too. Before we get rolling, I would like to say a very special thank you to our show sponsors today. We have DreamPress 2, faster and more powerful managed WordPress hosting. They're hosted on virtual private servers, and DreamPress 2 is super fast, highly reliable managed WordPress hosting, brought to you by the folks over at DreamHost. They're rolling with all sorts of speed-enhancing features, solid-state drives, PHP things, all the things that I don't do because I'm not a server admin, they're doing so that you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, it's managed by your friends over at DreamHost. One of those friends being Mika Epstein, who's been on the show before. So shout out to them. Learn more over at dreamhost.com/office hours. And then Managed WP. Kori, are you a Managed WP user?
You know what? No, this close. I'm jumping all over that. I've heard great things about it. Tell me more.
Thank you for that. I mean, that was like bump set, and I'm coming in for the spike right now.
Do it.
So Managed WP is a single dashboard where you can manage all of your WordPress sites. So like when you're driving and managing WordPress sites,
wow,
you can make that easier now.
I don't appreciate you making things that easy though, Kori. That just sounds too simple. I don't like that.
It's too much. Yeah, it's too simple. Yeah, you can automate all your backups. You can clone sites and run like malware scans and do lots of fun stuff. So if you manage more than one WordPress site, that is a very worthwhile investment. You can learn more or even sign up for a free trial at managewp.com. And all right, so this is episode 61. Kori, it's my first time having you on the show.
It is.
I'm very pleased to have you. And until the audience gets their coffee rolling and starts submitting questions, I've just got some of my own.
All right.
So for people that haven't had sorry, I'm all over the place today. We've actually had people request you to be on the show. So you already have a fan base here at Office Hours.
That's so humbling. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Heck yeah, we love everybody at Office Hours. Well, I don't know, maybe not everybody, but you.
Good call. Good call.
All right. So for people that haven't met you yet, give us the rundown. Who is Kori Ashton and what do you do?
So goodness. Well, I mean, I live in San Antonio, Texas, and I run a small team down here. There's about 10 of us now. We're growing. But a small group down here, and we're completely niched in WordPress. That's what I do full time. I nerd out on WordPress stuff. And we're doing everything from developing from scratch themes for folks to doing, custom solutions and really fancy, cool stuff with WordPress. And then we also do just total simple, flipping a theme for a mom and pop shop that might not have a really robust budget. We're going to help them out. And then I don't know if it's because of our location, which I'm sorry if I'm going to offend somebody, but we literally are between a titty bar and a Chinese restaurant. All right. That's where we are. I don't know if it's because of our location or what. That's probably the first time on your show, Kari, you've ever had a titty bar mentioned. But we're right down in the middle of it.
Might as well go for the third time. Let's if we're going to, let's go big.
Very cool. Well, we're in the medical center of San Antonio, so we're kind of in a really unique spot. We're actually, our claim to fame is that we're above a Starbucks, which we are. We cover the full length of a Starbucks, so we sit on top of it. It's kind of cool. But I don't know if it's because of our location or not, but we really do get a lot of mom and pop shops and young entrepreneurs that don't have much of a budget. So we try to help them out and find something that we could provide them the right resources and not leave them hanging just because they don't have a big budget for getting their website presence started, right? So we decided to start doing weekend workshops where people can come in for $500 and we're going to walk them through what it looks like to install WordPress, to choose a good theme for them, to help them understand what plugins are and how widgets work. And literally in 2 days, we're able to help folks get live online with a great responsive WordPress website. And we're doing that partially, obviously, to help entrepreneurs, but also to give back to the WordPress community, because we need more and more people on WordPress and educated on how to use WordPress, right? So that's our heart here. Preach, go. And we're also, showing some love here through the WordPress community with our meetup groups, and we're pretty active there, having a lot of fun, doing a lot of freebie give back projects. So that's what I do. That's what I do.
Sleep.
What's that?
When do you sleep, or do you?
You know what? I'm very blessed to say that because my team is so incredible, we get a lot accomplished, and I feel like I actually don't work that much. It's pretty amazing. I mean, my family might not agree with that. They feel like they don't see me very often, but yeah, that's I have a great team.
If any of them are tuning in, either actually via this Hangout, or they may just be watching you on Periscope.
Oh, good call.
Yeah. Can you see how many people are checking? So FYI for our listeners right now, Kori is live streaming this on Periscope, which Periscoping is a thing. I didn't even know till today that is a thing. It's kind of chat roulette meets video selfie. And yeah, so Kori is.
So let's see if I can get back here over here. So I didn't want to distract from your podcast, obviously, here at all. So I kind of put it on mute for a second so that, and so our crowd has dwindled. But for those of you that don't know what it is, you need to be checking out what Periscope is, because it's kind of creepy cool.
All right. Well, yeah, it sounds like something to do if you're kind of bored, or maybe there's nothing good on the tube in terms of watching Periscope. Yeah. Maybe not.
So you remember The Truman Show? You remember that movie with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
That's what this kind of reminds me of, even though most people know that they're being watched, because they're starting the podcast, or the broadcast rather. So most people, know, but here, I'll flip the camera back around so that they can see. So now you're being watched on my Periscope. So there you go. And now you can see behind the scenes, we are hanging out with Kari Dills, who's up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. I'm down in San Antonio, and we are live streaming on Google Hangouts as well as Periscope.
Oh, there's so much technology happening right now. I don't even know if my mind can contain it all.
It's job security for us, that there's always some new, different social network that's popping up, or something new trending, you know, with SEO, or something new happening with WordPress. It's job security, but at the same time, it's a total brain cramp for me to keep up with.
Well, you're ahead of the class to even know what it is and already be using it. So there you.
You've got hearts flying right there. Hearts flying just for you, right there.
Yes, hearts flying.
Yeah, hearts.
And you get a +1 for saying creepy cool from Deborah, who's tuning in right now. Okay, so your description of WebTegrity brought up a couple more questions for me. One, do you have street presence? Do you have your signage, your windows? Like when people walk by, do they know it's there and they just kind of walk in? Or
yeah, we have had walk-ins before. Up above Starbucks, we do have a really large window that we have. It just says web design in it with our phone number, and then it just has our WebTegrity W there. We knew that people wouldn't know what WebTegrity was yet, so we didn't really want to broadcast our name. We wanted to broadcast what we do, right?
Cool. Very cool. Okay, and my next question is, you said you do mom and pop, you serve a range of clients. Can you give a budget range of the projects that you might typically work on?
Oh, sure. So we do a little bit of everything. When my dad actually started this company in 1997, the year before Google existed, he started building websites. And you know, he started out like most freelancers at that point, where he was like stoked for a $500 gig, right? Woo! Thankfully, I kind of came along and I was like, Dad, we can do this. We can do this. I know we can make this business work. So let's figure out how to make this happen. And basically what we did was get a brick and mortar and get it started, right? So our prices obviously went up to cover our costs and our expenses there, and to bring on a little bit of a team. But we're very, very transparent with our pricing. We charge by the hour of whatever the project is going to take. So we have our prices listed on our website. Typically, if we're doing flipping a theme for a person and we're doing something like a 5 to 8 page website, you're probably going to be around the $2,800 to $3,200 range. But most of our projects probably average around the $7,000 to $10,000 range, because we really focus on doing custom. We love to build from scratch because it's lightweight, fast. It's exactly what the client needs, and there's no extra excess weight, you know, or complications in the code.
Well, that ties in perfectly with two questions we've got sitting in the docs right now. One from Jackie, and she wants to know how quickly you can build out those mom and pop shops websites.
Sure. So interestingly enough, most of the time we're chasing the client, and it's the client that slows us down. And most freelancers are going to say amen to that, because we are, you know, you end up chasing a client because they're struggling to write their about us information. Typically a project for us like that would run about a 3-week turnaround time. But unfortunately, if we have to chase a client for their about us information or for some photos, it might stretch a little bit, but we try not to go ever past a 5-week turnaround.
Oh, the team structured in a way like the project managers.
Yeah, sorry, you're cutting in and out just a little bit, Kori. Uh-oh. You're frozen.
Did you? Oh, no.
There you are. Now I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I told you before we started that there would be a technological mishap during the show, because it just happens. I don't know. I attract technology problems. No, I was asking about the structure of your team, and you know, do you typically have multiple people assigned to a project, and what are those roles? If you can talk about that for a sec.
So I am pretty much the lead when we get you know, request to quotes come through, or we get a phone call, or we've gotten some crazy leads recently off of our YouTube channel. People are loving us over there. So we're getting inundated kind of by a couple of different ways right now of request to quotes. I am the initial point of contact. So I'm going to go ahead and meet with that client and try to figure out what their marketing needs are all the way around. And then I will divvy up, once the contract lands, I'll divvy up the tasks with whoever on my team is, first of all, available, and second of all, obviously capable of tackling whatever tasks I'm assigning to them. So we've got folks here who are from scratch lead developers that can literally code, you name it, in their sleep, and they're figuring it out and they're coding it. We've got some of our graduates from our classes who we've hired on, and they're now freelancers for us, and they work here in-house that are able to, I know, it's really cool. It's cool, Kori. They pay to come to our classes, and then we hire them. I mean, it's the perfect thing because they've already learned our system. They've already learned the best practices that we teach. They understand our culture. They actually take the class here in our office, space, so they're able to see the environment and meet the team. It's a really great dynamic. So we've hired on about 4 of our graduates right now. And so those are kind of newbies. So we typically hand the projects to them that are maybe just customizing an existing theme. Then we've got content stuffers. And then my dad, who is 71 years old, is still a part of this company. And he's typically our guy who migrates the sites live.
All right. Nice. A family affair.
Oh, totally. My mom is our accountant. So if you're looking to pay your invoice, you're going to call up and talk to Joy. And then my dad is the guy who's either going to give you email support or migrate your database.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of these developers that can just crank out things, custom builds, do you have, are you using any sort of theme framework, or is it something that you've rolled yourself internally, or what are you building on?
Am I allowed to say anything other than Genesis right now? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not Genesis office hours. It's just office hours.
My bad. So. Okay. You know what? No, most of my team that have come in, we code from scratch, obviously. And what we've done is we've created kind of a skeleton theme that we'll run with. And that's our WebTegrity kind of skeleton theme. From there, it has all of our core files, everything that we need, our core CSS file, all that fun stuff. And we build out from there. Yep.
Yeah, no, not everyone has to use Genesis. Like, you're still welcome and loved here.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's always interesting.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
What's that?
You didn't disconnect me. This is good. I see that we're still live. Good. Oh, it paused again. Come back.
Oh, did it? I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay. That's too bad, because I was making a funny joke about the Wi-Fi cutting out and you being unable to come back.
Oh, I see how it is. Yeah, exactly. Then it does. Yeah, I see.
You've got good little, shouldn't use the word little, but you've got a good system. So for managing projects, you've got clients walking in the door, you have employees literally walking in your door.
Yeah.
Succeed. And I mean, you guys you've been there a long time. And you were noted as one of the business owners to watch out for recently in San Antonio. Yeah. So are you like the San Antonio rep for women in tech?
Well, for WordPress Women in Tech, I would be extremely honored to hold that title. Absolutely. There are some really incredible ladies here in San Antonio that have not only been highlighted in that same article, but that are just coming out of the woodworks now that I wasn't even aware of. There just some phenomenal women here in San Antonio that are really, really freakishly smart when it comes to technology. And I'm very humbled to even be mentioned in the same conversation with them, because I'm truly self-taught when it comes to all this stuff. I did go to college. I went to college for marketing and had a blast doing stuff like that. But when it comes down to nerd code and knowing HTML, CSS, and PHP, it is, I mean, my dad literally in 1990, I started coding in 98. He opened up the Netscape Navigator browser, if we remember that far back. It had an internal editor inside of it, and that's how I initially started coding. We didn't have Dreamweaver back then. I didn't even know what CSS was back then. And so I started coding that way. So I'm very humbled by all these women who come in with their doctorate degrees and they're freakishly smart and they're engineers and all this other stuff. I'm blown away by it. But I would be so proud if to represent for WordPress in San Antonio. Heck yeah.
Sweet. Well, you guys held your first ever WordCamp earlier this year, and you spearheaded that, if I remember correctly.
I did. I was very honored again to be a part of a great team that came together out of our local meetup group. A bunch of volunteers just kind of stepped up and said, you guys, we keep traveling to Austin and to Dallas, and we're going everywhere else, and we're flying over to San Francisco, and we're going everywhere else for WordCamp. Why isn't San Antonio having our own? So a couple of us just got enough moxie up, and we said, let's do it. Let's figure this thing out. And we pulled it together, talked to WordCamp Central, and asked those crazy cool chicks over there, hey, how do we do this thing? And they walked us through it, provided us amazing resources. And Kori, we even landed a venue that did a trade for a WordPress website.
Oh my gosh, that's perfect.
Heck yeah, I didn't even have to pay for it. They totally said, you know what, our website sucks. If you guys are nerds, let's do a trade in value. I said, bring it on, let's do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
it was
where
a
did
great
you end
turnout too.
I went out again?
No, you're good. No, I said it was a great turnout.
Oh, okay. I just heard out and thought I cut out. Yeah. Well, WordCamp DFW, this coming up this fall on September 12th. So awesome. We would love to have you mosey up I-35
there you go.
And come hang out with us up here.
Fantastic.
So it sounds like you have a very strong, active WordPress community. And I've had some of the listeners to the show say that they don't have really any sort of local community. I mean, they'll travel, excuse me, for a WordCamp, but there's no meetup in their area.
Right.
Do you have a suggestion on, I mean, should they just go start a meetup, or what would you say to those folks?
Well, you know, it is frustrating because we're a pretty large city, and there are a lot of firms here in town who make their living using WordPress. And when it comes down to those free classes, and it comes down to stepping up and organizing something and donating your time and your energy to something beyond the 9-to-5 job that you're doing, it is few and far between, very rare to find somebody who's, one, going to step up in the first place, and then two, ultimately be consistent with it, right? If there's no profit margin in it for them. So it's taken a lot. And there's a guy here in San Antonio, Yusuf Chowdhury. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to him, because truly he is the guy who has kept it running here in town. He was already plowing ahead. He holds, Kori, get this, almost every day of the week he's holding something for free somewhere.
Wow.
And it's at different venues around town to bring them traffic. It's always for free. He's just constantly giving back. And so our team has stepped up and said, hey, can we do maybe one a month and try to catch up with you or stay running alongside of you? He's just constantly on the go. There's always something happening here. But for those that don't have anything, I would absolutely say start small. You know, start meeting at a local Starbucks or something. Just start. You can contact WordCamp Central and ask them what it looks like to do a meetup group, and they can help you out with setting up the meetup account, walk you through all of that so you have an official meetup account and not just something that you're having to pay to run. And start with total beginner. If you think, well, maybe I don't know everything and I can't teach all that, you know, more intense stuff, it's okay, because I promise you there's somebody local in your area that doesn't know as much as you know, and you're going to be able to help them. And then the next thing you know, you're going to be able to network, and there is going to be somebody who comes on board with your little group that is more advanced than you. And you're just going to start to nurture it and grow it, grassroots effort. But giving back to WordPress is that's the core of WordPress, right? Community.
Uh-oh, it looks like I lost you for a sec. Oh, there you are, unfrozen.
Yay.
I love what you said. You know something about WordPress they don't know yet.
That's right.
So definitely jump in, start small. And I'm very glad that you mentioned WordCamp Central, because they start up meetups, even, you know, funding if you
That's right.
can't find a space that'll host you for free or whatnot. Yeah, cool stuff. So switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
Jackie wants to know, what advice would you give to someone starting their design or development consulting business to connect with clients the right fit?
To connect with clients who are the right fit?
To find clients that are the right fit, and then also to attract clients that are going to be a good fit for your business.
Sure. So I love that you're already thinking that way, first of all, Jackie, because most people who are hungry just starting out say, I just want anything and everything. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, right? And no. I'm thankful that you're already gearing your mind to how can I find the right people that fit for me to be able to help with my skill set, right? That's brilliant. But what I would say is a pretty cool way to do that, and the way we basically started it was, if you're just literally starting out to grow your portfolio, sometimes you're going to have to do some freebies. But I would say challenge yourself to be gutsy enough to go after a larger fish for a freebie. All right. Somebody that would hold a little bit of, wow, you did that account? Cool. Give you a little bit of a feather in your hat for your portfolio. Start growing it that way. Do a couple of freebies, grow your portfolio, and then be able to start presenting to the right type of clients that fall hopefully in that same pattern. If you already have a stellar portfolio and you're like, nah, I just need better clients, dang it. We started doing a lot of networking with local events that were going on specifically for the types of clients we were looking for, right? We started holding specific events as well that were totally free to attract the right type of clientele. I'll give you a quick for instance. Somebody can steal this idea. I don't care, because it will ultimately help WordPress. Who cares?
Bring it.
Bring it on. So about once a quarter, we hold an SEO event. Now, San Antonio, WordPress is just starting to really build some momentum here. So we know that SEO is more of a buzzword. And we don't want to just limit just people that are on WordPress to come to this event. So we really hold it under the umbrella of, this is going to be an SEO seminar. It's a 4-hour seminar. Shoot me now, right? You're thinking, good Lord, sitting there for 4 hours. But we hold it at Alamo Draft House, and everybody gets free food. It's a really cool vibe. And it's like $30, and it covers all of our expense to hold that event, right? We're able to teach at that point and show people our hearts, first of all, our caring nature of being able to give back and just be very transparent. And we're not doing a bunch of smoke and bells, fancy stuff. We're going to be very transparent in how we're going to help you with your SEO. And let's get you onto WordPress, right? Let's convert you. Let's bring you over to our side. So we throw that in there always. But I tell you what that does. We hold those events on Thursdays, which is a work day. We hold those events during business hours, 11 to 2 typically. And we do it, that's only 3 hours, 10 to 2. And we do it that way because we want the type of client that we want. We want a medium-sized company that has a marketing director that can send somebody to that meeting while they're on the clock. We don't necessarily, our ideal perfect client is not necessarily a mom and pop shop starting out that has $1,500 in their budget, right? That's not what we want. We'll help those people, but our ideal client, like the way you're kind of discussing, you kind of have to come up with a game plan like that and tackle it that way.
That's a really interesting, I've never heard the advice now I've heard the advice of, taking on some freebies to just sort of get your portfolio rolling. But what you're saying is go after the kind of client you want and offer up a free site to get that in your portfolio. That's very interesting.
It works. Doing these meetup groups, unfortunately, attracts a lot of DIYers, and they're not looking to spend a lot of money. So I don't dedicate my time with meetup thinking I'm going to land a $15,000 project. That's not at all why I do that. I do that literally to give back to WordPress. I hold these major events to go after those $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 contracts, right? Heck yeah.
There you go. Well, great answer, a thorough answer there. Hopefully, Jackie, that gave you some good food for thought. All right, so we're coming up on the halfway. Can you believe that you've already spent 30 minutes jabbering with me online and periscoping?
I'm a Texan. I can talk. We're good.
Shoot, we got this all day long. So last week I had an Alabama girl on.
Oh, Lord.
Yep. I had Rachel Carden, and she's a big Alabama fan. So she gave us some Roll Tide and some interesting Alabama isms. Are you, this has nothing to do with WordPress. Are you much of a, are you like a San Antonio Spurs fan, or could you give two flips about?
I could give two flips about San Antonio Spurs, and I'm probably going to have some serious backlash from that. I probably just lost like 5 clients.
You know what? All of our viewers just dropped off.
I got something for you here, though. Hold on. Speaking of that, let me show you something. Hang on.
Oh, wow. I don't think I've ever had a guest get up and leave during the show.
This is so worth it, though. This is so worth it. This is Spurs Jesus. Can you see this?
Wow. Okay, I'll let you talk. It'll come on.
Seriously, that's Spurs Jesus right there. There, you can see it a little bit clearer there. That is something real. This guy shows up to Spurs events. This is a real dude. This is not just a postcard. Yeah, literally. Wow. The backside says Spurs Jesus on it. It's ridiculous. So that's how dedicated San Antonians are. They light candles. It's a serious, serious religion down here.
Wow. Okay, well, while we're hanging out on a spiritual note and basketball, I'll share something completely funny and unrelated. So I'm from Houston originally, home of the Houston Rockets, and we won back-to-back championships. I think it was 93, 94, 95, somewhere in there. And "We Believe" was sort of the slogan.
Okay.
And everybody had, they're wearing the Rockets T-shirts that said "We Believe." There were billboards that said "We Believe."
Nice.
And then people even had these little posters in their car, "We Believe," all over town. And I had a friend come visit me, and she was like, "Is there like a big revival going on in town?" And I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Fans do as they will."
Oh my word. I love it.
And then we can. Okay. So yeah, I did not know that I could pull out that story today. It's never quite fit into the flow before. So thank you, Kori, for. Okay. So you have an interesting situation in that you're very education oriented. You are providing a lot of resources at that DIY level,
Sure.
And for those, the mom and pops that necessarily don't have the budgets to spend.
Yeah.
So you're using, to me, it sounds like you're doing those things because that's your way of contributing back. But at the end of the day, your bread and butter is going to be going after these larger contracts. Sure. Have you ever had the quandary of, do we just say no to the to the $3,000 project and refer it out to another firm, or is it a resource drag to take on projects of that size, or what's the story?
Yeah. So obviously it would cross your mind, where's our best ROI? How do we spend our time wisely, right? Especially as we are kind of a smaller team, and I have to wear a lot of hats and be pulled in 10 different directions. But I will tell you this, that again, I'm surrounded by such a great, great team here that they work for it. And they're just like, don't pass up anything, Kori. Send me work. So they're always hungry for more, especially new graduates of our program that come out of our WordPress advanced track. I mean, they've just graduated having taken a 14-week course where they have now learned how to code from scratch, and they're hungry for work. So if we can pass along to them a smaller project where we know that client is still going to be able to get a great great product, and the student is making back some tuition that they just paid. It's a win-win situation.
That's awesome.
Heck yeah.
You created this whole ecosystem. I like it.
It is pretty cool. It's just really happened, kind of pivoting our company that way in the last year, where we've really dedicated our time to actually set up the full course that we have now. Because the last 3 or 4 years, we've just been doing a lot of one-on-one classes. If a client needs some training on what is Facebook versus Twitter, we'll bring them in and sit them down and walk them through just a one-on-one training session. We've done that from the beginning of time. But what we saw was people, one, don't have the money to spend, $99 an hour to sit down and really learn everything that they needed to learn. So we thought, okay, how can we cut the cost, group people together, and still make it profitable for us, right? So it works. And I really actually enjoy teaching, Kori, more than I enjoy nerd coding, for that matter. But another way that we're giving back too is we do WordPress Wednesdays here. And I mentioned earlier our YouTube channel. Literally every single Wednesday, we're releasing a WordPress video on how to do something with WordPress. And we're just now finishing up a series on Yoast. We did 4 videos where we talk you through how to install it, how to optimize it, how to go do a keyword research so you even know what keywords to be using, and then how to submit your sitemap. So we love doing those, and that's actually been generating the right type of clients for us too, believe it or not.
Interesting, because the people watching those videos are probably not your clients, I'm guessing, or your potential clients.
It's interesting though, but some of them have come through and they're this interesting. Think about this, Kori. If I got hired on as a marketing director and I've been handed this WordPress website and I don't want to tell my boss that I don't have a freaking clue what I'm doing, I'm going to jump on YouTube. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to hammer out some questions and try to figure out, and I'm going to watch some tutorial videos, and then I'm going to figure out, I still don't know what the heck I'm doing. And that girl makes it sound easy. I'm going to hire her. And that's what we're seeing happen.
Wow. Interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got fingers in all sorts of pies. Once again, I don't know when you're sleeping.
I'd rather be busy than bored any day of the week. So bring it on.
All right. Do you find that the doing the YouTube stuff is good for generating organic traffic?
Oh, hands down. I
should clarify. Back to your site traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand what you're saying. I actually had no clue that it would generate what it has. But one of the things that has been just tremendously blowing us up over there is we actually have a gal. This is so interesting, Kori. We did the WordCamp here. And whenever you hold a WordCamp, you're supposed to videotape it, right? And all the different speakers. WordCamp Central actually sends you all the video equipment, right? So you know this. You've facilitated the WordCamp up there. So they send you all the equipment. We recorded everything, and you submit back to WordCamp your video of what you talked on. Well, they have this crazy cool gal over there, one of, I'm sure, that does closed captioning for them for all their videos.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, she happened, and she volunteers. She happened to be the closed captioner for my video. And she reached out to me. She said, Kori, I'm just learning really how to do closed captioning, and I'm just learning what WordPress is. So I'm thinking to myself, a way to give back to WordPress is to keep volunteering on doing closed captioning for WordPress stuff, and I'll learn as I type. So Kori, she asked me.
Brilliant.
I know. She asked me, can I start doing all your closed captioning for your WordPress Wednesday videos? Like, she asked me that. What? Yes, please. So adding in the closed captioning for all my videos has just blown up our analytics now, because YouTube's able to offer it so much more now, not only for those that are hearing impaired, but also for translating, right? So we've got people watching us now from all over the world and coming to our website off of YouTube.
That is awesome. And yeah, 3 cheers for accessibility.
Yes. Heck yeah.
I've started doing, it's never occurred to me to close caption, because all of these episodes end up on YouTube since they're Google Hangouts. Of course, I have an archive up on officehours.fm too, but you can get to them through YouTube. Yeah. I've hired someone to start doing transcripts, episode transcripts for me.
Sure.
but it never occurred to me to I wonder if I can repurpose those as closed captions, maybe.
Absolutely, you can. That's actually what this lady does for us. Her name is Mally, and she lives in Georgia. I mean, it's just crazy. She says to me, we've never met. We only Skyped after all this. And she says to me, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do your closed captioning. I'm going to commit to doing things for a couple of months for you, and I'm going to send you the transcript. So we've taken the transcript, we've thrown it on our website, and she's doing the closed captioning. It's amazing.
Yeah, she sounds awesome. I wonder if there's software to kind of aid that process of closed captioning.
You know what? She did mention to me that she was using something, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was.
Well, we will find that out and well, I mean, it's not really pertinent, I guess.
We could Google it, but I will find out, and I'll tweet it out. How about I do that?
Perfect. Hit some hashtag Office FM with that tasty tidbit.
I'll do it.
We had a lovely comment from Ginger. She says, I want your Yoast class, and it's a great show today. You have great energy, Kori. So
thank you.
Thank you for being a little afternoon caffeine bump.
Yeah, there you
without
go.
Any caffeine.
Well, there's nothing more boring than watching somebody with a tutorial that just sits there or doesn't have the camera and they're monotone. I mean, shoot me now. That's miserable. So if you know any Texans, you know that we're pretty animated anyway, right, Kori?
Giddy up, baby. I mean, yeah. And, you know, people, those people that you just described do not have a career in periscoping.
No, good call. Good call.
They're going to need to look elsewhere for their life's work. We have a question. What types of sites are you building in WordPress that we might not expect to find being based on WordPress?
That's a pretty cool question. So a lot of our projects are kind of the general, you know, corporate looking blog, you know, that they use for their press releases type website. But let's see, I've got a whole board up here of current projects right now. We just built a really cool one based on an app. We're getting ready to launch it soon. And that's going to have some cool API nerdy stuff behind it there.
Nice.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. We just had a movie producer out of Austin contact us and asked if we would be open to doing some really cool interactive stuff. So I'm stoked about that because we very, very typically, you know, 9 times out of 10, we're going to get the consulting company or a counselor or a lawyer. And I'll do those websites all day long. And we try to make them as interesting as possible and give them personality and talk about SEO and content strategy and conversion strategy and blah, blah, blah. But the cool ones that pop up, you know what? We launched Alamo City Comic-Con. And it looks pretty darn cool. So we were stoked to do that project, and we launched them not too long ago. They've got a really cool countdown that goes down and tells you how many days you have until the event takes place, and that was a fun project. We also, probably one of our largest projects that we've ever built on WordPress is the Animal Defense League here in town. And there's a lot of customization behind it. It has some really cool bells and whistles in there where you can go on and adopt a pet, or at least apply to adopt a pet. They've got some really cool caching stuff going on where as soon as a pet is adopted, they can log into the behind the scenes and check adopted. And then a little adopted badge kind of pops up over the little cute little dog's face or cat's face. And that stays there for 3 days. And then dynamically, it takes that post and sets it back to draft mode and pulls it off the website. So some fun stuff like that we do.
Very cool.
Yeah.
On the one that you mentioned that you're doing the app with, is the app basically the mobile version of the site, or are there 2 separate components there?
It is the mobile version of the site. Way to go. And I would probably have to pull in our lead developer to give you all the crazy technical stuff, because my technical speak would max out at probably what we just said.
I will not ask you any more in-depth questions because I don't have the technical vocabulary to ask them. So brilliant fit here. This is good. And Comic-Con, as part of the project, did you get free tickets?
Hands down, you know me. That's the way I roll. I am all about doing free crap for trade or something like that, Kori. I have a great story for you, speaking of that one.
Bring it.
Oh, Kori. Okay, so don't you love your job? Do you love what you do?
Absolutely.
I love what I do. I'm so blessed to be such a stupid nerd and do stuff like this every single day. I love it. So I never know who's going to walk through my door, what potential new client random lead is going to come through my inbox for the day, right? I never know. The other day I have this guy walk in. He's this quirky looking bird, really unique looking. I actually couldn't take my eyes off him. He's so unique looking. And he comes in, and come to find out, he's like a dentist, right? So he goes, Kori, I have 3 projects for you. I said, okay, bring it on. The first one is a forum. I was like, okay, awesome. Boring. Awesome. The next one is just a regular WooCommerce site. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. All right. So about an hour, Kori, we spend walking through his 2 projects, right? And I'm thinking we can build this all day long, no big deal. And he's kind of really, he's got a good personality, but he's just kind of serious. He's a doctor. He's kind of serious. And then it comes down to Kori, and he goes, you want to know what the 3rd project is? And I said, sure, bring it on. What else you got? And he goes, all right, type this into the screen there and let's pull it up and take a look at it. And I said, okay. We go to typing, and he goes, Shreddies, USA.com. Shreddies, SHREDDIES, USA.com.
Wait, is that the underwear thing?
Yes. Yes. How do you know about that, Kori?
I don't know. I don't know, and maybe I should be embarrassed to say that I even knew about it. But go ahead, carry on. Describe Shreddies.
So if anybody's watching this and you just went and Googled that, first of all, I hope that first picture does not royally offend you, because it is a gal in her skivvies, and it is a dude kneeling down sniffing her tush. And so what it actually is, I'd never heard of this before. It is flatulent filtering underwear.
I don't know. I need to see some testimonials.
There are
actual humans.
So go, yeah, good call. They're on, you believe everything you read online. They're on Amazon. Come on.
Wow. Okay. Well, I might need to buy a 3-pack for my husband.
Well, there you go. Do what you got to do. My mom said, we'll do a trade of services for my husband. That's what my mom said. Let's hook him up with a 7-pack.
Well, to be fair, I could use a pair too.
So the technology behind it is brilliant. They've taken a hazmat suit that's normally lined with charcoal as its filter, and they basically reversed the technology from anything being able to seep in. They reverse it so that stuff cannot seep out, and you've got chemically sealed in draws. That's what you got. So I completely digress on our conversation here. We've probably lost every viewer possible, and I apologize for that. But my point to that whole story was that I never know what we're going to be building for. And I love the opportunity to help different companies. And I have traded services for a new roof on my house, for a kayak, for landscape, for tacos, for burgers, and now for underwear.
Okay, so what did you do for Shreddies?
So we're actually going right now, if you go on their website right now, the button that you click to buy now actually unfortunately takes you out to his Amazon cart, and Amazon's taking their 25%. He doesn't want to do that anymore. He's been able to reassess his marketing strategy and bring fulfillment in-house, and he's going to actually be wanting to sell directly on his WooCommerce site. So I'm going to switch those around and be sure that everything's set up for his WooCommerce cart to launch, and we're going to do some SEO work for him.
Oops, sorry, I was still muted. It was kind of a double entendre of what did you do for Shreddies? Oh, oh, thanks, people. I'll be here all week.
Very nice.
Well, getting back to the topic of WordPress, which, by the way, thank you for that. I have a feeling ratings for this episode might skyrocket from from the Shreddies mentioned there.
From the Shreddies and the titty bar, and then leaving the screen. Look out! I'm the best guest you've ever had. My bad.
And periscoping, we're crushing it today. Okay, so Devinder wants to know specific plugins or tools that you're using in-house for implementing some of these more complex projects. Like, are you using advanced custom fields or custom meta boxes, or just, again, things you're rolling yourself?
Yeah, so absolutely. Advanced custom fields, we're all over that. We also have switched gears to just like cowboy coding or doing something with WAMP or MAMP, and we're using Cloud9 now. Our team seems to really, really love that. Our in-house developers here are all over that. So they've been using that more. And you know, some of the stuff you can actually get away with dynamically doing things through Gravity Forms. That is a seriously robust plugin. So we've been using that. That's probably advanced custom fields and then a lot of custom coding. Our team just does a lot from scratch that we know what we're doing. We know it's lightweight and we know it's compatible with everything that we're using. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Great question, though. For sure.
Custom post types. Yeah, I've got awesome listeners, but then you already knew that.
That's pretty impressive. I was wondering how you were going to come up with all these questions yourself, and I'm glad people are stepping up for you. This is good.
Shoot. Yeah, they keep me on point. See, we were talking about underwear, and then Devinder tried to get us back on track with an actual WordPress question. So, yeah.
Thank you for bringing us back. Focus. We'll focus. My bad.
Well, you know what, Kori, while everybody is in such a good mood and I'm loving this, I'm just going to go ahead and blatantly ask that if you love listening to this show, you head over to iTunes and just leave a killer review. And that would be greatly appreciated. And not just you, Kori. Anyways, yeah, it helps us find more listeners who want to hear about underwear or possibly technical topics. Oh goodness. Okay.
Shout out that Ginger gave us out on Twitter.
What's that?
Did you see the shout out over on Twitter that Ginger just sent you? This is good stuff right there.
Karen knows all the underwear things. I'm picturing the little, all the things graphic. All the things. There you go. Yeah, the underwear. I've thought a lot about the legacy I'm gonna leave, Kori, and I'm glad that underwear knowledge has made the cut on that.
Man, if we can't laugh, we should just give up now. You know what I'm saying? We should just give up now. You gotta laugh.
Truth. Okay, we've got just a few more minutes left here. So anybody that is tuning in and wants to have Kori's undivided attention, hashtag it at Office FM, and we'll do our best to get to that. And Kori, I have a couple more questions for you myself, but I do very much want to thank our partners at DreamHost for Press 2 that's even faster and more awesome than before. And you can check them out at dreamhost.com/office hours. And then our other host, Managed WP, which, Kori, I know you're going to go check this out after we get off the
I took a note. I wrote it down.
Sweet. Take that note. And a special howdy shout out to Vladimir, their president. The baby's coming. I don't know if the baby has arrived yet, but wishing him and his family congratulations. And that has absolutely nothing to do with their service, but you can learn more and sign up for a free trial. Throw some of your accounts over there and your WordPress accounts over there and see what you think. Okay, we've already discussed that you have no time to sleep because of all the things you're doing. But what do you do to, how do you keep your ear to the ground, learn new things? Are you reading blogs? Are you listening to podcasts? Like, what's your resources?
Sure. So my whole family, as far back as I can remember, have been educators, teachers. And really one of the best ways to always stay ahead of the game is to teach it. So I love the fact that we have to teach it, because there's nothing worse than a student walking in your classroom and telling you, hey, are you scoping today? And you're like, I do this for a living. I have no clue what you're talking about. So if I'm not already up to speed on following certain blogs and hanging out on Twitter and listening to your podcast and checking you out and making sure that I'm up to speed with what you're doing, I'm having a student keep me in check, and they're coming in telling me, hey, you need to be on this, you need to be doing this, or what is this? Let's look into it together. And that really, really helps me. Plus, we're teaching classes with our meetup group. There's nothing better than getting a question from somebody at a meetup group that you don't know the answer to. Because now I'm going to go learn something today, and let's figure it out together, and let's sit down and Google it together, and we're going to find out. But yeah, I'm avid on WP Tavern. I'm always, getting their emails and following them, and Search Engine Watch. I check those guys out, and Search Engine Journal. So for SEO coolness, Moz, obviously. I do watch a lot of YouTube videos. So I am I've subscribed to their YouTube channels. And so I'm not much of a reader, Kari. That's so lame. But maybe it's that I don't have time, but I would rather watch a YouTube video and hear somebody and feel their energy, and kind of just what you're doing here, giving resources and getting resources in that same way.
I feel you. It's easier to consume that sort of information. I read a lot, but just like trash fiction.
Nice.
Well, I mean, not like trashy fiction, but
hey,
anyways.
You know what? You knew about the underwear. I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't know.
Do not touch the underwear anymore. Oh my gosh. But Kori, I have to say that if you're tuning into office hours to stay on the latest and greatest technology, my friend, you are going to come up a little bit short. So I do like to think we have some great topics on the show, but I'm glad you're keeping an eye on some of those.
Heck yeah.
Some of those other blogs as well.
And you know what? Specifically for WordPress, I check out the WP Water Cooler, and that's actually where you and I first met. I think you were one of their guests the same time I was, right? With Chris Lemon and those guys. Yeah.
Yes. I saw your lower third, and I was like, "Whoa, Texas! How have we not come across paths yet?"
That's right.
So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, so 3 cheers for community, both meeting folks online and then maybe having the opportunity to meet them in real life sometime.
Yeah. You and I met in real life in San Francisco at WordCamp, right? In October, right?
We did a little WP Engine dinner, and we got to sit at the same table. I think I just want to apologize because I was not much of a conversationalist. I think I was brain dead, which happens to me at WordCamps. I run out of brain space and conversational capability.
It was so loud in that restaurant, though. I just remember a conversation, I think, about your dog or dogs.
Oh, yeah. Good recall there. I have a couple of those guys. All right. We have a burning question from Nicole for you.
Okay.
She wants to know, how do you bill your clients for ongoing work after the initial project is wrapped? And I think you mentioned that you do hourly, but do you do any sort of retainer plans, maintenance plans, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we have to be brief here, so I'm not going to go into my crazy long full description, but I will tell you this. You will thrive. Your company will actually survive the slow seasons and the big lulls that you're going to have if you learn how to properly sell that ongoing retainer or support package. And I'm going to give you one little snippet that might even help better. We've changed the word to support packages. We no longer call them maintenance or retainers, and people are getting it and they're buying in.
Awesome. And not to just do one more shameless plug, but seriously, Managed WP is perfect for that model because it lets you set up all these sites. So at least for the, keeping the backups and plugins maintained and such. But do you find that they're actually, are you doing like phone support or the little tweaks on the website as part of that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So minimally, everybody gets at least an hour a month whenever you sign up for us. And that also includes premium hosting with WP Engine. So we give quite a bit in our support packages that makes it so tantalizing that they typically don't say no.
So tantalizing that you can't say no. You heard it here on Office Hours. Kori, absolute, serious from the bottom of my Texas heart. Absolute pleasure having you on today and chatting with you.
Thank you.
Where, if people aren't, don't have the Periscoping app yet, which I don't even know if there is an app.
There is.
I'm not watching you on there. Where can people find you on the web to stalk you?
Yeah, so you can look at my lower third, and that's actually what this is called. What this is called right here on the screen, not anything else. You're gonna look at my lower third.
Stretchers go, or wait, scooters.
No, Shreddies, no.
Shreddies, sorry.
Come find me at my lower third. Come stalk me on YouTube. Also, we've got our youtube.com/WebTegrity channel over there. Please come find me there. We're doing all sorts of fun stuff. Free advice for WordPress.
Video that is at Kori Ashton on Twitter. Cool.
You're cutting in and out. I don't know what you're saying, but I hope we're saying goodbye. I think you're wonderful.
Well, I wasn't quite yet saying bye, but you know what? We probably should wrap it up.
I don't know. I don't want to leave. I could sit around and talk to you all day long. I got my sweet tea. We're good.
Shoot. Okay. Well, we'll let the listeners go so that they can get back to their afternoons. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you, Kari.
And we will see you guys next week. Bye.